Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best point guards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 15,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day, tons and tons of daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. Starting off with the first point guard on today's list, which is going to be Allen Iverson. AI is good, not incredible. He's a bit undersized. He's not a truly incredible defender, but he's good on the perimeter. Release is smooth and easy to green. He's a capable slasher. Does have very good movement. Super solid offensive card. Pretty good on the perimeter defensively, but not quite insane. He's a good card, little undersized. Not truly great at this point. I think low A or high B for him. Baron Davis I think, does solidly go into A tier still. He's not S tier, but he's still really good. I mean, he shoots the three. He can dunk the ball well. He moves pretty well. Sigs are solid. He's got pretty good size at the PG position. I like his release. I just think he's a really good all-around card. Very versatile, does a lot of things good, and is definitely a card that I think is worth picking up for a lot of squads, especially if you're more of a no money spent player. He's on my no money spent team, and will continue to be on my no money spent team for the time being, at least. I think he's a very, very good card all the way around. Chris Paul probably B as well. Maybe C. I'm gonna go C. No, well, okay. I have about 20. Is he in the bottom 12? I don't think he's in the bottom 12. I'm not sure. He might be. We'll see. Regardless, CP, I mean, defensively he's good. His release is kind of mediocre, and he's even smaller than AI. He's pretty similar to AI defensively on the perimeter. Not as good of a slasher or as good of a shot creator, and his release is kind of slow. He's just not that great. I think C is probably fair for him. I think I would take Dame over CP3. For the offense, no, I don't know, because CP3's defense was more useful when it was more shorter point guards. Now CP3 is going to get attacked defensively pretty much as Dame is, pretty close. So I feel like Dame's offense is probably a little more valuable. So I think Dame's goes B because the release is better, the movement is better, the slashing is way better, and the size is better. I think I would go Dame over CP. I'm going to go De'Aaron high B. I don't think he quite goes A personally, but I don't know. I think he's a good card. I think he's very, very fast. That's the best part about De'Aaron Fox. His release is fast. His sigs are pretty fast as well. He's not a great defender. He's not an elite slasher, but he does dunk the ball pretty well, and he's got pretty decent size, but not a great player build. But he's a pretty good card. Darren Williams is bad. Only thing he does is shoot, and even his release is bad. He's just not a good card. Definitely one of the worst point guards on this list, so he's a pretty easy D tier. I don't think Derrick Rose is all that good either. I actually think C tier is a fair spot for him because I think I would take a lot of these guys left on this list over D Rose. Because here's the thing. D Rose, his release is super slow. He doesn't shoot the ball very well because of that. Even though he's got good movement and is a great slasher, he's also a very, very questionable to poor defender. I mean, D Rose cards are always interesting at the beginning of the year and sometimes pretty good, but this year, not quite as much because release is really slow and that hurts him a lot. I think Donovan Mitchell is an S tier point guard. I think he's top 5 in the game. I do. I think you could make the argument as high as 3rd, and I think he's a really, really good card. Elite level slasher, very, very fast as well. Super smooth release, moves pretty well, and then defensively he's good, but doesn't have a lot of the key badges, but he's better than some of the point guards we have defensively. He's a pretty good card. Donovan Mitchell, very solid. D Wade also, I do believe, cracks that top 5, not by a ton, but he does still squeak in my opinion. I think I would take Donovan Mitchell over D Wade. D Wade is better defensively than Donovan Mitchell, but not as good of a scorer, shot creator, or shooter. I think D Mitch moves better, plays a little faster than Donovan Mitchell on the offense, or than D Wade does on the offensive end of the court, but Wade gives you more defensively. They're both very good point guards, both S tier type cards. Isaiah Thomas is good defensively, and then he's an okay shooter. He's got a pretty good release. He's not great though, is my thing, as I typed the wrong spelling of Isaiah. 92 speed, he can't dunk though, but he can shoot. I mean, his release is good. The shooting stats and badges aren't insane, but the release is very good. The playmaking is pretty good as well. Defensively, he's not bad. He's got some perimeter stuff to him. Release, I like a lot, like I said. And then Steph Dribble, yeah, he's B tier. I think he's B. He's good enough. Jamal Murray's not very good. 76 speed at point guard is really slow. He doesn't defend, and his release is pretty slow. He can dunk open, but he's not a very good card. John Morant, same book as Derrick Rose. I think he might be a little better than D Rose because his release is better, but he also doesn't move that well, and defensively he's not good. He's a great slasher, but doesn't do much offensively besides that. Not a card I'm a huge fan of at all, just like Derrick Rose, although he's maybe a little better, so I'll put him higher in C tier, I guess, whatever. Jason Kidd, defends his butt off, like really, really well. One of the best defensive guards in the game. And I like his release as well. His release is super easy to green, consistent. I liked this card a lot when I was running him. I was actually running him over Kyrie next to Devin Booker off my bench when I first got Steph. Actually, my first lineup early in the year, I was just running Kyrie and Jason Kidd as my point guards. I was running him over Dame. I think he's better than Dame. I think he's really, really good. Jason Williams is going to go D tier. He just doesn't do a ton of anything particularly well, to be honest, which is disappointing. He's not a terrible card, but he's not a good card either. He's pretty bad, honestly. Jerry West defends really well, but he doesn't do a ton else. Release is okay. Doesn't really dunk the ball or anything. He is 6'5", though. He's not fast, and he's not truly an elite card or anything, but he is fast enough. Does shoot the ball pretty well and defend the perimeter pretty well as well with some good perimeter defensive badges. Doesn't dunk the ball. He's probably high C. I think I'd take Isaiah over him, but they're kind of close. Would I take Isaiah? I don't know. I might take Jerry over Isaiah. I'm going to leave them both B for right now. Screw it. No, I'm not, because Joe Dumars has to go B. One of them's going down. It's going to be Isaiah Thomas. Joe Dumars is not an A-tier card. He's good, he's got a fast release, and he defends, and he can dunk. He's not a bad card, but he's not a great card. I think he's on the level of Jason Kidd, maybe a little better. One of the better cards in B-tier, but I'm not sure he quite cracks the A-tier. I'm saying this, and I'm looking at the point guards left, and I don't know if there are that many that actually crack that A-tier. I think John Starks isn't quite as good as... Well, John Starks actually I do think is probably better than Dumars. I'll put John Starks back half of the top 10, put him in the A tier. I think he probably does deserve that. Because even though he's only got 80 speed, I mean, it's not like Joe Dumars is much faster. Starks is a better slasher, as good of a shooter, and pretty similar defensively as well. Has silver clamps, bronze glove, gold challenger interceptor, ankle braces, pick dodger, things of that nature. Very solid card. The more I thought about that, the more I like that John Starks card. He's really good. I don't think Kyrie is I'm going 6 S tier, guys. There's got to be 6. Kyrie would be the 5th, would be the 6th, but with his movement, he has to be S tier. His movement is so good. His dribble style is so good. I cannot wait for Kyrie dribble style and more cards in this game because right now shot creation is so hard and it is so frustrating. But Kyrie is S tier. I 100% think so. Magic is also S tier because Magic is 6'9". He's also 93 speed, even though he doesn't feel even like he feels like he has 70 speed with ball because he doesn't run well. But he is an absolute giant, an absolute mismatch offensively, and then defensively, he's probably the best or second best point guard option on that end as well because of how versatile he is there. He can guard 3s and 4s and even compete against 5s at a level that no other point guard really can just because of his size. The defensive stats and badges are not amazing, but he's a very good rebounder and he's very big, which makes him very versatile at the point guard position. The fact of the matter is we had a Magic playing center week 1 that was actually a viable card. We're not that far in the future, and now we have a 6'9" Magic who's better at everything and can play point guard. He's one of the more overpowered cards in the game. Malcolm Brogdon is one of the worst point guards in the game. His release is terrible, and that's the only thing he does good. He's bad. He's D tier. He and Darren Williams are probably the 2 worst so far. Mike Conley, I legitimately think is A tier. Defense really well on the perimeter, really solid movement as well, and a fast release that snaps screen. Can dunk the ball. I like him a lot. I think he's really, really good. I think Tiny Archibald sucks. I understand he's got 97 speed, but he doesn't defend. I tried to put in Tiny. That's not his name. Nate Archibald. He doesn't defend really, even though he has high lateral quickness. The rest of the badges and the rest of the stats aren't there. He's very small. He doesn't shoot the 3-ball well, even though his release is pretty good. He can hit wide open, but as a point guard, you got to be able to stop and pop in small areas. Even though he has amazing playmaking badges, including Hoff Dimer, blow by, and speed booster, the lack of shot making and defense, as well as size or slashing, he doesn't really have any of those things at a high level, so it's not enough. Oscar Robertson goes back half of the top 10. Well, maybe not even top 10, but in the A tier still because he's 6'5", mainly. That's his biggest attribute is that he's big. He's not great defensively. He's got a good release, but he's not an incredible shooter. He's not a great slasher. He can dunk wide open, but that's about it. And then playmaking wise, doesn't have speed booster, doesn't move incredibly well. Only bronze handles for days. His best attribute is that he's big and he's got a pretty good release. He's an A tier card. I like Rondo. I think he's B. I don't think I'd quite give him A. I know we got a lot of cards toward the middle of this tier, and I think that's the way it's going to remain. But I think Rondo defends well, and I like his release. I feel like he can hit open. I feel like he's on a very similar level to Jason Kidd. They're both good cards. I am going to move Jerry West down to C tier, though, because I'm going to put Raymond Felton in the B tier as well. I actually like this Felton card a lot. I think he's really solid. I know it's Raymond Felton. It's kind of a joke, but he's got 91 speed, 83 3-ball, can dunk, and isn't horrible defensively. Not great defensively, but playmaking badges does have silver speed booster, handles, bailout, break starter, some good gold ones like blow by, dimer, and unpluckable as well. Got gold catch and suit, silver guard up and green machine, silver fast twitch. He can dunk the ball. Release is nice, I think, assuming Jeremy Lamb release is good. I haven't actually used it yet. I'll do gameplay with him probably next week, but yeah. And then we have the 2 easiest S tiers left on the list. Obviously, I think that Shea and Curry are both S tiers. SGA being 6'6", I think he's the best point guard in the game. He can get every badge. He moves incredibly well. MJ dribble style, incredibly complete and incredibly good card. Definitely one of the best point guards in my team. Well, no, one of the best cards in my team. I think you can make an argument he's the best card in my team, and I think he's definitely the best point guard in the game because he does a lot of things Magic doesn't do well, which is shoot with a fast release, move well, defend, get badges that you want. Magic doesn't do a lot of that. Magic's just bigger, but I think SGA is the better card. I put him S tier. Steph is S tier as well because he's an incredible 3-hunter. 3-hunting is much less valuable than it was last week, just because the shooting has been so screwed with, and the delay that they've introduced to the game somehow has been awful as well. But he's still an elite level card, still one of the best shot creators in the entire game, if not arguably the best outside of maybe Kyrie, and has an incredible release. He's still an amazing shot maker and still an S tier point guard. And then finally, Victor Oladipo will go high A tier, kind of like Baron Davis in a lot of ways. I like his release. He's super athletic, dunks the ball well. Maybe not a primary ball handler, but a pretty versatile, very good defender. He's 6'4" PG, so he's got pretty good size. Oladipo's really nice, kind of a budget Dwayne Wade, even though D-Wade's free, but he's kind of like another alternative to that type of point guard. And overall, really, really nice card in my team. And this is honestly, I think, a pretty good list. I know it's a little bit middle heavy, but let me know what y'all think of my list in the comment section down below. If there's anything y'all would change or any point cards I left off the list that y'all would like to hear my thoughts on, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.